You know that thing where you've already left the job in your head? I mean, you're still showing up, you're still doing the work, but some part of you checked out months ago, heck, maybe even years ago. And every time you get close to actually making the move, updating the resume, sending the message, something in you pulls the handbrake. I mean, you tell yourself you're being careful, you're being smart, you're weighing your options. But if you're honest, you're not weighing anything, my friend. You've just been stuck, and you've been stuck for a while. I'm Alan Stafford, and I help people think clearly in a noisy world, and this is Think Sharper. See, I've spent 30 years in marketing, and I've got an MBA and a certification in applied neuroscience, and most of that career was spent studying how people make decisions, including the expensive ones. Here's what I learned. See, when a big decision feels impossible, it's almost never a shortage of information. It's that your own mind is running a handful of quiet tricks on you, okay? So today what we're going to do is we're going to name them, and I'm going to hand you a tool for each one of those. And here's what you're walking out of this video with, okay? 5 thinking tools, okay? 5. Each one aimed at a specific trap that makes a big decision feel harder than it actually is. So we're not doing a pep talk here, my friend. I've got 5 tools. You can point at the decision sitting on your desk right now. All right, so let's start with the feeling itself, okay? That pull to just decide already and make the discomfort stop. See, that urge, that's the trap. When a decision feels urgent, you jump straight to acting, and we skip the part that actually matters. See, there's an old decision model from a military strategist named John Boyd, and I have a complete video on this. Check the link above or in the descriptions. Now, Boyd called it the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and then act. And well, most of us live in the last 2 letters. We decide and then we act over and over and reacting to whatever's in front of us, for that matter. See, Boyd's point was that the whole thing is really won in the first 2, observe and orient, or orient yourself. So here's the move. Before you let yourself decide anything, you write the landscape down. What's true right now? What has changed? What you honestly don't know yet. See, you're not deciding, you're just looking on paper before the urgency gets a vote. Because here's what shows up next, okay? You look at leaving, okay? And the first objection is some version of, but I'm a marketer, or I'm an engineer, or I've spent 15 years becoming this thing, and I just can't walk away from it. See, that sentence feels like a fact, right? Well, it isn't. It's a story you tell yourself, and it's costing you. The fix is a way of thinking called first principles, and it just means you stop reasoning from the label and start reasoning from what's actually true underneath it all. So instead of, I'm a marketer, you ask, what can I actually do? I can find what people really want. I can tell a story that moves them to act on it. See, those are real things, and they don't care what's printed on a business card. So strip the title, keep the skills. The skills come with you. The title, it rarely ever does. And this is the big one, okay? So let's slow down a little bit here. See, there's a well-documented quirk on how people weigh a decision. So losing something tends to hurt about twice as much as gaining the same thing feels good. And we call that quirk loss aversion. See, 2 psychologists, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, built a whole model of decision-making around it back in 1979. And the work, well, later won Kahneman a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, what I want to do is be upfront with you, because that's what I like to do on the channel, is be right up front and give you the facts. That word twice, as in hurt twice as much, well, it's not exact. Depending on the person and how you measure it, a loss lands anywhere from about 1.5 times to 2.5 times heavier than the same size win does. So it's not a fixed number, but the direction is rock solid, and it's held up for decades. Losses, well, they feel bigger. So when you picture leaving, your mind runs the loss column in bold and leaves the other column, well, pretty much blank. So here's the tool that fixes that. It's called inversion. You flip the question, okay? Instead of only asking what you'd lose by leaving, you ask what it's costing you to stay. Then you write that list out in the same honest detail, okay? And folks, be specific. Maybe it's the Sunday night dread that now starts on Saturday afternoon for you for going back to work. Maybe it's the skills that that are going rusty because you never get to use them anymore at your current job. Whatever it is for you, put it on paper, put it on the page, because once that list exists, you can finally actually physically see it. And staying, well, was never free. You were paying for it all along. See, loss aversion just kept the bill out of sight. Because we treat decisions like a light switch, stay or go, right or wrong, but almost nothing about your future is a switch. See, it's a dial. So instead of asking, will this work, which you can't answer for certain anyway, you ask a better question. How confident am I, roughly, that this path gets me somewhere better in 2 years? and you put a rough number on it, write it down on paper. It's not a real statistic. It's just a gut percentage, like 60%, 40. The point isn't the number so much. The point is what the number does to your thinking. So the second you say, I'm about 60% on this, you've admitted there's a 40, okay? And now you can work on the 40. What would have to be true to move it? What's the one thing you don't know that's dragging it down? Yes or no thinking hides all of that, my friend. Odds, well, put it back on the table. And here's the last trap, and it's the one that really freezes people. See, we treat a big decision like it's permanent. Like once you choose, that's it. There's no undoing it. And to be honest, a few decisions really are permanent, but most of them, they're not. Most of the time, if it doesn't work out, you can change course. So here's the one question to ask before any big move. If this goes wrong, can I undo it? And if the honest answer is no, then good. Slow down and take that one seriously. But a lot of the time, the answer is yes. And that changes everything. See, say you want to leave your job for something new. You don't have to quit on Monday and just hope it works out. You could try the new thing on the side for a few months while, your paycheck is still coming in. If it's working, you lean in further. If it's not, you've lost a few weekends, not your income. See, that's a decision you can undo. And once you see that, or once you see that you can undo it, most of the fear just drains away. Look, you're just running a small test, and you get to stop the test anytime you want. So let's put all 5 together because, well, they work as a set. So when a decision suddenly feels urgent, slow down and look at the whole picture before you choose, okay? So if your job title makes you feel trapped, remember the title was never the skill. The skills leave with you, okay? So when leaving feels too risky, write down what staying is actually costing you, because staying is never actually free. So the moment it feels like a simple yes or no, turn it into rough odds instead so you can, work on the part you're unsure about. And if a move feels permanent, stop and ask whether, well, you can undo it. Most of the time you can. See, none of these tools make the choice for you. What they do is get the fear out of the way so the decisions you make is actually yours. Look, I put all 5 of these on a single page you can keep next to you while you think. It's free, there's no catch, and the link is in the description below. Grab it, print it, put it next to you, or put it next to the decision you've been avoiding, all right? And then run it. Now, the honest counterweight, because these tools have a failure mode, you can actually hide inside them. There's a point where writing one more column and adjusting one more percentage becomes its own way of not deciding. Analysis can be a very sophisticated form of avoidance. So at some point, the frameworks run out and you're left with a real call made on incomplete information in your own values. So no tool takes the part away, and it should never do that. The tools are here to get the fear out of the driver's seat. They were never really meant to do the driving for you. So I want to tell you about the first time I got this wrong, because I got it badly wrong. My first real job was as a designer at a marketing agency in Orange County. I started as a junior designer, worked my way up to senior designer, then supervisor of the design department. Eventually, they moved me over to the marketing side to help promote the agency itself. On paper, man, I was winning. I was hitting it. But I had, at that point, hit the ceiling. See, there was nowhere else left for me to climb in the company. The ownership was toxic, and the work had turned into the same thing over and over. And I could feel my actual craft becoming rusty. See, I was miserable and stressed constantly, and I still didn't even leave. And here's why. See, my daughter, I had a brand new daughter. She was less than a year old. So every time I thought about walking away, all I could see was the risk, no paycheck, and a baby at home who, well, needed the paycheck. And that was the loss column running bold, okay? Running in bold, exactly like we just talked about earlier. What I wasn't letting myself add up was the cost of staying. The stress was wearing me down, and every month doing the same repetitive work, my skills got, well, a little rustier, and my career quietly began to stall. See, when I finally ran both columns, honestly, it wasn't even close. So I left. I took a job as an art director at another agency in Orange County with real creative control this time at that agency. And that one scary decision is the reason I got the 30-year career I've had. See, I was ready to trade my whole future for a little comfort. That's how strong the pull is. So please, don't let it drive you. Thanks for watching. Think sharper, stay sovereign.